You'll need this, right? Hello, my name's Anthony Kerrigan. Welcome to the GhostÉire Channel. And tonight we're joined by Warren Coates of Northern Ireland Paranormal Research Association, otherwise known as N.I.P.R.A. Happy birthday, Warren.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Happy birthday. N.I.P.R.A. celebrating their 30th anniversary this month there, in September this month there. So we're going to be talking to Warren. We're going to be talking about how they started and compared to how it's changed all over the years. Also, we'll be talking to Warren about Richhill Castle in County Armagh, ley lines, and also the Crumlin Road Jail in County Antrim. We have a poll tonight, folks. We asked you, are ley lines connected to lines of energy? We're revealing results later on. Also, we have a quiz, folks, where you have a chance to enter our Halloween mega draw and mini draw. There's only a month left, and we'll be revealing results, doing the draw for that soon. So yes, if you've got any questions, feel free to put them forward to Warren tonight there, in relation to any of the subjects or to anything towards Northern Ireland Paranormal Research Association. If you'd like to contact the page, go to our website, www.ghostére.net, go to the contact page, fill in the blanks. If you have any private message, just put in brackets private message. Also, you can catch up on past shows and what is coming up in the future by going to the homepage of our website, www.ghostére.net, and clicking on the red button. We're just going to do a few shout outs there. So Andrew Crane says, hello. Hello, Andrew. How you doing? How are you keeping? Jason Red Sinnott says, hi. Hi, Jason. How you doing? Watson Jonathan says, hi, all. Hi, Watson. Hi, Cara. Cara from Third Eye Adventurers. Hi, Cara. Hope you're all keeping well, resting. Liz Reeves says, hi, guys, from our R.I.P. Paranormal. It's thanks to Liz that I found out about it's your anniversary there, Warren, bro.
I knew Liz wouldn't let it go.
I found it on Liz's page, R.I.P. Paranormal. Karen says, hi, Warren. Eugene says, hi, Warren. Eugene from Afterlife Paranormal. John Ambrose Martin says, looking forward to the show, guys. Ryan Dobbs says, hi. Hi, Ryan. How you doing? Bridget Burke from Seekers of the Afterlife says, hi, all. Watson Jonathan says, indeed they are. Mary Dargan from GhostÉire. How you doing, Mary? She says, happy birthday, Warren.
Thank you.
Jason says, happy birthday. Siobhan Gallagher. Hi, everyone. Brian McBarn from Belfast Panel Investigator says, hi, guys. I'm trying to get all through. Hugh James Capra from, obviously, Capra County Antrim Paranormal Research Association says, hi, Warren. And Liz Reeves says, not a chance. So I think you're well liked there, bro.
Well, that's nice to hear. So it is.
But yes, it's 30 years now. So
Oh, don't remind me.
How has it all changed? You established in 1991. If everyone would like to established in 1991. This is like pre Most Haunted and Ghost Hunters and all the terrestrial TV and Sky and all that there. Can you tell us what drove you into doing the paranormal yourself?
Well, I was actually brought up in a haunted house in Bangor. My parents, my sister, virtually everybody seen the spirit that was haunting the house. I was basically, you could call it the unfortunate one that didn't. And at a very, very young age, I was always thought people were just basically too tired and or super, imagining things. Until a few wee things happened to me, which showed me that there actually was something else out there. And from an early age, I actually started off trying to debunk the whole thing and trying to prove there was no such thing as an actual spirit. But I experienced things which basically just changed me completely.
Right. And like, as you said, like, so I was going back then, how has it changed, like, investigating? How's investigating changed?
I mean, it's changed completely. I'll tell you a couple of things we would have used when we first started, and you're probably going to fall off. You're still laughing at this. Basic things like salt. Now, people would say, you carry salt for purification. It wasn't really. We used to put salt or flour down if we were doing a house, and we had to put it down just to see if there's any footprints. So if a person said, we don't go in that room, or we don't do this, we had to put it down. Then if we went back and it was disturbed, we knew somebody had been in that room. All we used was a wee tiny dictaphone tape recorder.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, that was it. There was no help. There was no internet. If you'd have told me back in 1991 there was going to be internet, we were going to be doing all this thing now, I would have laughed at you. Basically, there was no help. It was basically all just trial and error.
And like, as like you said, I don't know, was there any other paranormal teams around?
There wasn't. There was a Belfast Psychical Society, which was like, it was basically like a spirit society from years ago. But like, they didn't do any private cases. I actually started off, when I started N.I.P.R.A, I went out first of all to see, is there a need for a paranormal group? Are people experiencing these sort of things that are happening? And we actually put an ad in the Belfast Telegraph. And the first ad we run, like, I'm sure people thought, this guy's away in the head. But the first ad we run, we got something like 25 or 30 replies. Saying that people were having strange things happen there in their house. Now, people back then were, I thought, a lot more reluctant to talk about it. They were a lot more hesitant to talk about it. Whereas now, because of the TV, that's one thing good about the TV programs. It is making people more susceptible, so that they can actually sort of reach out to people and actually talk to people and not be sort of ridiculed for maybe thinking they're experiencing paranormal activity.
True. And then, as you said, like the equipment has changed, and was it more like spiritual side? Like you do emphasize that you are a spiritual team. Was it more spiritual back then as it is now, instead of people using equipment and that?
It would have been, yes. Now, again, back then, I hadn't found my path on the spiritualism side of things either. So I just went out, me and my brother and one of my friends went out with small tape recorders, whatever we could find, and we went out and we were trying all these different bits of equipment, trying all these things and putting ourselves in supposedly haunted locations, and we took the cameras, the sort of self-developed photographs, and I got there with 35mm stills cameras. That was it. There was no full spectrum camcorders, there was no zero lux camcorders or anything like that. The first camcorder we got was absolutely massive. It was about the size of a shoebox, and we were taking it out on the locations, and it took like a VHS videotape, and it was compared to now, with all the things about now, and I'm not greatly into the equipment. There's some equipment I do look at and go, well, that's fine, we could use it, but we would just more try, and I think that's the beauty about it. Whenever we started so many years ago, and there wasn't all this technology around, it made us have to actually accept what we were feeling and not
True.
question it, because there is times if you're out in a paranormal investigation and you are having, we would always say to people, if they're out with us for the first few times and something happens, if we were doing circle work or something, we would say you have to be very careful, because you don't want everything that happens, you don't want to accept as the paranormal. But there does become a stage where you have to go, right, that was paranormal that happened, and accept what you're getting given. Because if you don't, spirit will just basically go on to somebody else.
And then, like, as I was saying, I suppose going back to investigating, and then you have the private, like the spontaneous stuff, cases like people might ring you up, as you said. Would they ring you up? Obviously, there would be. Would this? No, I'm not sounding stupid and all that. Would it be letters sent to you? And as you said, there was letters sent.
There would have been, again, back in sort of in the 90s when I got there, it was letters were posted. I actually ended up having to get a PO box down in one in the what was the Bangor Spectator local newspaper, because there were so many letters getting sent to my private house. Some of the letters were very disturbing. Some of the letters were threatening, going to burn me out of my house because what I was doing was demonic and working with the devil. So that's why we thought it was safer. It was safer to get a PO box. But certainly that was the norm back then. It was just basically by mail, and then usually if people were happy enough to leave their telephone number in the letter, then I would have phoned them back. But it was just for safety's sake. It was very rare I give out the home telephone number.
I suppose, as you said, like, the home phone number is completely different. You have the yellow, you forget about the golden pages, the yellow pages, but they could find out where you live there with your phone number there.
That's it, exactly.
It's different these days. You only have a mobile phone there. It's kind of easier to get away from that sort of situation.
That's it.
A few more shout outs there. Tanya says, hi, Mama Bear, Liz. So Tanya's talking to Liz. Joanne says, hi, also, how are things there, Joanne, from Seekers of the Afterlife? Brian, we're having a conversation behind our backs there. Cameron from GhostÉire. Hi, Cameron, bro. Merhaba, guys. I think that's hello. That might be Turkish there. Hope you're enjoying yourselves there, Cameron. See you soon, bro. Just going through, you're all having conversations, you're all talking about each other there. Jonathan says, we have an old prison in Enniskillen. I have tried to get an investigation into it, but the council has said no. So is there any other way to try and get an investigation there? What to say or do there? If you tell us if you're part of a group, let us know there, Watson. There, that's to do with Enniskillen and the prison in Enniskillen. Have you visited it there, Warren?
I haven't visited. I think I know the prison he's talking about. Well, the only advice I would give him there on that bit is basically keep trying. There's a lot of places, again, if you say things like public or, professional indemnity insurance, public liability insurance, or something like that as well with the group. Again, it's something else. It's another sort of arrow in the quiver where you can actually approach the people and go, look, we're a legit organization. We're trying to get in. It shows you, that's them see that you're serious about the whole thing. Again, look at it from their side. They don't want to let somebody into their premises, which is going to maybe destroy it or cause damage.
Yeah, I was just going on about it. So how was it 30 years ago getting locations?
Hard. Hard. we were very lucky. We had hit on a couple of ones which were sort of just basically, it was as if the gods basically give us them. One of the places we were very lucky to investigate was Castle Ward, one of the big National Trust properties down in Strangford Lough. And that place was fantastic. It kind of things it was a big manor house set in loads of land, and it was basically through word of mouth. If we had done a case for somebody, and obviously these people maybe in their circle got to know other people or spoke to other people that were having paranormal activity, and then they were going, look, there's this group, they've been in here, they've done this for us, They haven't set fire to the place. You know, they haven't stolen anything. You know, which is always a good thing. You know, so we were lucky enough, as I say, to get into places where it was some of the places we get into. Again, there's places we've basically told them that we'll never go public with it. You know, but some of the places we've just been extremely lucky.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you get to know the people first, then, and I suppose it's still sort of the same nowadays. Then
it really is.
Show the friendly face first before contacting places. There, Kathy says, "Hi, Warren." Kathy, how you doing, Kathy? So we've got the first subject we're going to be talking about is Richhill Castle. There, Mary from GhostÉire says, thinking back on what you used and worked with you when you first started and comparing it with the equipment you have and use now, is there any equipment or technique from the early days that you would still use or rely on now?
Basically, I know there's a lot of groups out there that use equipment, so I'm not going to sit here and rubbish them all, because we're all individuals. We all do our own thing. I just think a lot of the times it's better to go with your own intuition. You know, the only thing we still use would be not even tape recorders now. I mean, you would use just the mobile phones, you know, the voice recorder and a mobile phone. EVP machines that I got there, yes, we've got them. You know, spirit boxes, yes, we've got them. Full spectrum cameras and I got there, yes, we do have them, we do use them. But I would again say, you know, is more to listen to yourself. If you are in a situation where you are doing an investigation, is, you know, it's the same as walking on a pair of crutches. You know, sometimes you have to give up them crutches to be able to walk properly. You know, if you've maybe broke a foot or so, or a leg or something out there. So if you're walking on them crutches all the time, if you're using that equipment all the time, you're never going to be able to actually accept that stuff yourself. You know, whereas if you go and we always say N.I.P.R.A was going unplugged. You know, so when N.I.P.R.A went unplugged, we left all the equipment at home. We took camcorders and I got there, so with camcorders set up, so if there was anything happened, we had the evidence, but any other equipment was left at home. You know, we knew if we walk into a place, because we work with Spirit, we'll walk into a place and we'll know if there's anything there. But, you know, it just gives you that added sort of thing. But if you go in just one night, I would say to any group, leave all the equipment at home and just go in to the bare necessities and trust what you're given, and you'll get a lot more results.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good method of doing it. So it's just taking what's around you instead of just concentrating. Is this battery done? You know,
exactly.
You know, I've got to get all this, which meter to use next, and all kinds of stuff there. John Ambrose Martin says, "Tell us what your favourite paranormal experience there."
Oh goodness, where do you start? Over the years, we've been really lucky in the group, and I've been lucky as an individual, starting off years ago looking for this stuff, that I have experienced some amazing things happen. One of the most amazing things that happened, and it's down as one of the subjects later, is, well, Richhill Castle and Crumlin Road Jail. Me and a few members stood and watched a spirit figure in Crumlin Road Jail walk down like 2 flights of stairs, stand. Everybody's seen it, and we were able to say exactly where it was. So it wasn't I was imagining it and somebody else was imagining it too. We all could see it. And the spirit figure walked right towards us, got about 40, 50 yards from us, and then disappeared. You know, and everybody's seen it. It's so tangible that you could actually reach out and touch it. And it's things like that where you can go, you know, no matter whoever tries to tell me there's no such thing as spirits or paranormal, I'll always go, like, to me, I would say that people like that is stop watching the programs on TV, you know, and actually go out with a legitimate group and experience proper paranormal.
True, yeah, as well, yeah. Like TV has a lot to answer for. As you said, it's best for people just to go out and experience it and see what they feel and see and hear as well. There, Joanne says, "Have you ever had an attachment?"
One of the locations we done years ago, we would always be very, very careful. We do sort of clearance on ourselves, especially if we're going to nail a location where there is maybe a negative energy. One of the locations we had, it wasn't myself had the actual attachment, but it was one of our group members, and she was actually extremely sick just outside this place. And for a few days after, maybe for a few weeks afterward, she was actually quite ill. And it was just because the energy that was in this location, men were fine. But whenever a woman walked in, whenever a female walked into this place, at times they could have been attacked, physically attacked. The energy was there. Basically didn't like children and didn't like women. Now, we're not talking demonic or anything out there. We're actually talking a person that used to live in like late 17th, early or 17th century, where basically women and children shouldn't be in the same room as basically adults.
Yeah.
People were physically attacked. And I say one of our group members, she ended up having to do a clearing like up there on Aurora just to try and get there. Now she was fine a few weeks afterwards, but she was so physically sick just outside the gates of this location.
Yeah, as you said, like I know some, like I suppose it depends. You have to get in the same mindset as a spirit. Would that be correct? Like as you said, go back to their time of era. Like as you said, I know when I was younger, there was a lady that didn't like children around there. There's nothing demonic about her. She didn't like children there, especially red hair children, especially like myself with red hair. Like they didn't like. She didn't like. So.
Well, the location I was saying about, it was actually Richhill Castle, and I'm sure if one of the people listening here tonight knows exactly the person I mean. But that the energy that was in there, men were fine, men were absolutely fine, and it was nothing because there was a woman here. It was nothing preferred or anything up there. It's just basically the woman should not be in the same location as these men. It was like a whole Downton Abbey affair, basically, and but it was quite a nasty energy to women. Like we had sort of the females that were down with us were slapped and pushed in this location, and it was this gentleman. Once he came into the energy or into the atmosphere, you just felt the whole room change in energy. And as soon as he came in, we went, oops, here's so and so.
You could all feel it close, like in the space within you. Pauline says hi from Limerick. Hi, Pauline. I might just have to go on to the first, but just one or two questions there. Do you use the Ouija board there? Julie wants to know.
No, I don't. I did years ago, and I know I'm not sure for yourself, but I know other people still do use it. And again, we're not going to condemn anybody for doing it. It's up to the individual. The thing people have to realize with the Ouija board, now there is the whole thing about, you're opening a portal to a different dimension and all this here. And I'm a firm believer, we're sitting here now, but there's other dimensions around us. There's other spirit energies and all around us at all times. And the way we would describe that is if you imagine if you've got, like, not so much in modern day radios, but an old radio that had a big knob in the center of it, you could be sitting listening to a radio station. There's thousands of other radio stations out there, but you're only tuned into that one. But by slightly moving that knob to the left or right, you're tuning into another radio station. And it's the same with the Ouija board. People lift it, and the problems arise is people don't know what they're doing. People do it in a party location. Let's have a few drinks, let's have a few joints, let's get the Ouija board out. And then you're playing with fire. And if you're speaking to an energy that maybe that person's been dead for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever. Maybe that spirit has never communicated with a person in all that time. And all of a sudden, here's this person which can communicate to them. Now, that spirit energy isn't going to want to let that person go. And this is where the problems come from. We would again say, if you're going to do something like up there, make sure you're doing a proper closing down. Make sure you're doing a cleansing of the site first. I mean, psychiatrists and all use Ouija boards now, or some psychiatrists will use a Ouija board, because what they're doing is they'll give you that to basically, they'll talk to you and get you to do all these things with your conscious mind, and your subconscious mind is basically moving the planchette on the Ouija board. So I mean, it has got its values as well.
True. Yeah, I know that they use it in criminology, psychic criminology as well.
That's right. Yes.
And it's an interesting subject there, but as you said there, it's like if you communicate with other dimensions and suddenly they waken or come into our dimension because you're tuning into them, and they see that you're off your face. It's not what they first want to see, but they might want to get a message out there, and then you might not be able to take in what they're saying.
And some of the spirits too, it's not that the spirit's trying to do anything negative to against the person, but again, that if you look at it from the spirit point of view, they're maybe striving to try and get a message across here, as you say, so they're so into trying to get that message across, where that's when they will maybe attach themselves to people, and then people straight away speak to somebody, oh, this has happened to me, this has happened to me, oh, you've got a demonic possession on you, and you go, well, actually, you don't. You've got a spirit which is looking for help, and that's the way we would sort of term it.
Yeah, it's our interpretations then as well.
Exactly.
Hugh says, hi, Warren. I remember when we first started how nervous we were when starting out and that we didn't want to investigate our first year. This has started off like a love letter, I think. Sorry,
don't tell my secrets.
It was all nervous when we first started. We were, so I'm only joking. When we were starting out, and that we didn't investigate for our first year while we learned and gelled as a team. I can remember meeting you and Darren in that hotel in Belfast, and all the sound advice you gave us that we still adhere today. So thank you for that. And can you give us any more advice that will stand us well for the next 16 years? That's a laugh out loud. I won't go on all night, but is there any place in Ireland that you would love to get into that you haven't done yet?
I'm quite contented. The Crumlin Road Jail was probably one of the places I always wanted to get into, never knowing that it would the much success we would have had in it. But the other place which I would love to get into again, but unfortunately it's out of everybody's reach at the moment, is Richhill Castle. Richhill Castle is the creme de la creme. It's the icing on the cake.
Okay, we're going to talk about Richhill Castle now in a second. Yeah, so we'll go into that. Liz says, very true, Warren, made her very ill. I think that's to do with the attachment thing or the location. Yeah, and Hugh says, laughing out loud, and Mary's on about, she's asking me, can we investigate it? She's with us, GhostÉire Richhill Castle. So we're going to talk about Richhill Castle there. So it's in County Armagh. Can you tell us there, Warren, there? I was going to ask you where it was situated. Is there any bits of the history there about the castle?
Yeah, it was one of the first fortified houses built in Ulster. So it didn't have like ramparts. It didn't have anything that looked like a castle or anything like this. And what they were doing was, again, taking all the defences down, so it just looked like basically a stately home. But inside, whenever the house was built, the Richardson family had built like a couple of secret passages and a couple of like stairways and all into it for escape routes, just in case whatever hit the fan and they had to get out. Amazing building. I don't know if you ever see any of the like broadcasts with, I was going to say any of our up north, any of our government talking outside Hillsborough Castle, but our government's a bit of a joke, so you probably never see any of them talking outside Richhill. But if you ever see them talking outside Hillsborough Castle, the gates that you see them in front of were the original gates from Richhill Castle, so they were. It's just an amazing place, steeped in history. I say the Richardson family, very, very well thought of. It was, again, the whole sort of lord and lady thing, but extremely well thought of. To all religions, they were so happy and so helpful to whatever religion the person was, and so well thought of in the town the whole time we were there. The Little family, the family that sort of came to own it whenever sort of we got involved with it, was Gordon and Helen Little, and Gordon was, I'm sure Hugh and all will agree with me here, Gordon was one of the nicest gentlemen I've ever met in my life. Just a true Irish gent, and the whole family were. And they lived in this house, massive big house, and they lived in about 3 or 4 rooms of it. So one section, and the rest of it was like sort of, just they went into during the day occasionally, but they had their own wee apartment off to the side. Gordon would tell you, well, unfortunately he's passed away now, but he said he had never had an experience. So he just accepted the spirit world so much, where they accepted him as well. but other members of his family had loads of experiences on it, as did we. So it's a beautiful, beautiful big building.
As we've got, yeah. So next question I was going to ask you, because as you said, owner Gordon, like, he didn't really, no, he just let it be there. He didn't see any signs of any spirits there. But he says the in-laws, apparently, one of them had a conversation with, was it a family member on the stairs there? There was a haunting.
Yeah. Where the window was, what this lady was seen looking out of, whenever you look out that window, there's what's known as a souterrain in one of the fields, just a sort of a short distance from it. And the souterrain would have been, it's like an escape tunnel, basically. And she was always seen looking. Now, other people seen her. We picked up on her a few times, but one of Gordon's family members was walking up the steps and seen this figure of a woman standing looking out the window, and stood and had this whole full-blown conversation with her. Another one of his family members was lying in the bed one night in was known as the death room. And it was known as the death room just whenever people were on their last legs, basically. They were put in this room and the windows and all were opened up so the air could come in from the garden. And they woke up to see this figure standing looking over them. And then they had a conversation as well with different people. But Helen, like Gordon's wife, she experienced a couple of things in it. But as I say, Gordon was just totally accepting of. He would have went, yeah, well, if there is a spirit there, they were there long before my family were, so they've got every right to be there. And that's why he basically had no hassle with them.
And as you said, I suppose loads of people experience it. He didn't experience it himself. Do you think, apart from this location there, do you reckon that people are prone to hallucinations? I know there might be more witnesses that experience it there, but is it due to infrasound, like they've seen it in the corner of their eye?
Yeah, it could well be. We would always say to people, if they are working spirit, now I got there, if they are trading out, as you say about peripheral vision out of the corner of your eye, people will see, it's the same as Darren Brown and all I got there, all these mentalist guys. They'll do things because your subconscious doesn't really register stuff, or your conscious mind doesn't really register stuff out of your peripheral. But some people do. I mean, again, that's the thing we would say to you is people will hallucinate. Something will happen and they'll jump on the paranormal bandwagon. We'll always say to them, look, analyze whatever's there. Obviously, if you're in a room where there's a rattly window or you think you see we're sitting in a dark room, you see a flash of light, check first if there's a car driving up the road. Check first if somebody's to switch the light on the house across the way and it's shining in. Because we've been in so many locations where there's times where we've been tricked. Something's happened and we've gone, oh, did you see that there? And then once you go, well, here, hold on, look at this, it could have been that, it could have been that. You would reproduce the thing and you go, hold on, there you are, switch that light on. Okay, that's what we've seen. So people, I know some people would think we've been very strict about the whole thing. But again, the way we would look at it, if somebody's, I'm sure Hugh and Capra, I'm sure all different groups is out there, I'm sure they're all the same now. If you're getting someone to come into your group and you're doing the training right from the word go, it's silly training them. And if things are happening to them which they're considering to be paranormal, but they're not, and they're not, and you're still training to, yeah, that's paranormal. It's down the line, it's not going to work for them. Because
that's a good point.
You need to be disciplined with them and go, right, do you feel a spirit? What do you feel like? Well, I feel, we have people say, like, I feel like it hurts in the back of my neck standing up. And you go, right, that's brilliant. What else do you feel? I feel a bit nausea in my stomach. Well, right, that's the way spirit will show itself different people to different ways. And the hurting back in the neck, people feel nauseated and all that's here is the usual way it would happen. And then we would say, right, what do you think that is? Do you think it's a male? Do you think it's a female energy? Well, to me, I'm picturing a male. Right, we'll hold that. And the next time, once they do that for a while, the next time they walk into a room and there is a male energy, straight away, they'll recall that and go, that's a male energy.
So and it's recognizing how if they've been on somebody in the team now, how to recognize these sort of energies there and the environment that's around and their own personal feelings, how they've been in their body, their senses, how they perceive stuff there.
That's it.
Can you tell us about Richhill Castle? Did you investigate it a lot of times, or?
We did. We went down a lot of times. We were going down, like I live in Bangor. We were going down like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. We went down, stayed over and all of it. And there's times that we went down, drove home, left Richhill Castle 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning to come home to go to bed for a couple of hours to get up for work, as all paranormal investigators do. But yeah, I mean, some of the experiences we had in Richhill Castle and some of the things some of the things we experienced. Again, there's nights we went down there. I know probably people listen to this tonight will go, well, that's a stupid thing to do. But we went down at nights with no cameras or anything. But again, we didn't have to have the existence of the paranormal or the spirit world proven to us because we already believed in it. And there's nights we went down there, and they're the nights that you will have amazing experiences. So you will, and as I say, there's nights we went down, don't get me wrong, there's nights we went down to Richhill Castle, nothing happened. There's also nights now, Liz is listening, so she'll be able to she'll laugh at this. But there's one of the nights we were down to Richhill Castle and we locked up, switched off every room in the house in the castle when we were coming out, got right down to the front door, came out, turned the key in the front door, and we're talking just before we got in the cars to go home. And next minute somebody said, there's lights on up in the hallway or up in the hall at the top of the stairs. All the lights were off. We went up, switched the lights off, come down again, turned the lock on the door, and bang, there's more lights switched on. And again, that's to us, that's a spirit having a bit of fun. I would believe, as most people do, whatever we've got in our daily lives, whatever your body makeup is, wherever you are in spirit, you're going to have them same personality traits. Everything you had when you were alive, you're going to carry over into the spirit realm. So to us, nights like that was the spirit just going, let's take it, whatever, out of these people here. They're wanting to go home early, but we're going to ruin it for them. So again, it's just having a bit of a laugh with spirit, which you can do.
True. I just got to come to the questions in another little bit there. Yeah. And as you said there, I suppose that you do pass on different personalities. Because I won't want to be happy all the time, no, when I do pass over. Yeah, you might be sometimes a bit down or whatever, like you just relax, not high tempo, just relax, that sort of way there,
Yes.
But so it'd be, if we do have a conscience, it'd be great if we carried on whatever emotions into the afterlife as well. I was going to say, just a sneaky question there. You were the people from the BBC nice?
Most of them were. We were lucky enough over the years. I think it was Finney Hurl. If you ever listen to Stephen Nolan's show, which used to be Finney Hurl, and Finney Hurl was done one of the things at Richhill Castle with us. Stephen Nolan was, I'm not sure if you know Stephen Nolan or not, but a lot of people here, Stephen Nolan was supposed to come out with us about 3 or 4 times, and each time, I could curse, but I won't, chickened out. And Finney Hurl became very good friends with us. Finney Hurl's done a lot of things over the years. He was brilliant. The best one ever was Gerry Anderson. Gerry Anderson, he done a 4-part documentary on us years ago, and Gerry was an absolute ball. He was a fantastic, fantastic man. So he was. He came out as being, he knew there was something there, but he had never had any experiences. At the end of the 4 times coming out with us, he had a couple of experiences where he sat and said, I can't explain that. Even we done the Grand Opera House in Belfast, and it was me, Gerry Anderson, Father Aidan Troy, and a couple of other ones sitting in the seats. All the lights were off, and we'd called out, and what it says, if there's spirit energy here, please make yourself known to us. And I was aware of a spirit energy on the stage. And I said, if there's spirit energy there, we just walk out and put the light on. And right center stage, this light just came on for about 2 or 3 seconds and then went out again. And there was some rare language said in the seats that night. But yeah, we've been lucky enough. There's one person, I'm not going to name, but there's one person in the BBC which I have no time for because he's quite an ignorant person. And just he's an unbeliever. But he's very ignorant with the whole thing as well. We just don't have time for people like that.
I know. We get them all, I suppose, in all different professions there as well.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, I was going to say something there, but probably would come back to me there. I'll go through some of the questions there. So Joanne wants to know, have you captured any interesting pictures before and after investigation? We find as a group that while setting up equipment, activity starts, the banter seems to draw them in. So
definitely. Yeah, definitely. The banter is a brand thing. We always say humor is... Liz and I will tell us as well. Anybody who's been a member of the group will tell you, whenever we want to go to the location, we will have a ball. We will tell jokes. We'll have to get the whole atmosphere heightened and lightened up. You know, and especially if you're going to a location there is nobody living in, there's nobody sort of going to it all every day. The way we would describe it is, you imagine if you'd set your car outside and never don't switch the engine on, your battery's going to run down. You know, and it's the same as a house. You know, our location. The energy that, again, the spirit will use the energy from us to manifest and to do stuff. So if there's nobody going into that location, that energy is going to subside and it's going to drain away. After a while, if you go in and you're telling jokes and you're laughing and you're having a bit of crack, Brian, that will build the energy up. We've had Brian photos. There's some of the photos we have, which, you know, I'll try to actually, some of them I've got put away, I've got printed out, and I will send you them. I will definitely send them. So there's some of the ones we've taken where we know there's nothing there. We know there's something on them, you know, and what's known as ectoplasm. And ectoplasm used to be like the Muslim sort of material come out of sort of like medium's nose and out of their ears and sort of belly buttons and all. But now that term is more give to this sort of like thick cigar smoke, which is seeing photos and all. And we were lucky enough to take a couple of photographs, which again, we knew we were out, we knew there was nothing there. We knew it was nobody's breath or anything like this. And yet once we took a photograph, and again, you're talking, again, 35mm stuff mostly. And whenever you get it back and get a process like that, there's this like shapes on it, which is, it's amazing to us when you get it.
Yeah, it's like as you said there, so changed. I did like from the digital there and the what was it, celluloid?
Yes, yeah.
It's gone a bit different. I still use the old film like myself there, but I suppose I'm not really the photographer in the team there. But Jen, my wife, is there. Tanya says, I've very fond memories while in Coats of a few places. My first body apparition in Marquee, Crumlin Road Jail, Prehen, Richhill, and although Ross makes me, I'm still love it.
That's where Ross Castle she's on about, yeah.
Castle. Yeah. Hugh says, amazing location, one of the first locations we did, and it didn't disappoint. I think that's to do with Richhill Castle.
Yeah.
Hugh says he was, mate. I think that's to do with, is it Gordon, the owner?
That's him, yeah.
And Liz says, the death room, my favourite room with the dolls.
Don't like the dolls.
Tanya says, oh no, creepy old dolls, I don't do. And Karen says 100%. Liz says, hi, Veronica and Brian. So they're having a little cheeky chat in the background there. Tanya says, I myself pick up things better without equipment. I remember that night too, Warren, in Richhill. So that was, yes, the lights going on and off and people even during the investigation. Tanya says, Ballyduggan Mill with Vinny.
That was a funny night.
Liz says, no swearing on the BBC. And Liz says, totally laughter is a must. It's a grateful spirit to use to hopefully connect to us. And yes, Alison says, hi, Warren. Hi, Alison. How are you doing?
Hi.
And Veronica. Hi, Veronica. From Belfast Paranormal Investigators says, hi, Hugh. And hi, how are you doing? Bridget says, do you use EVP recorder? And if you do, have you picked up voices on it there?
We do, as I say, we've got the proper for EVP recorders. So normally we would just use our mobile phones. But yeah, I mean, we've got a couple. Again, we've got some actually fantastic EVPs from Richhill again. We got terrific ones from the Crumlin Road Jail. And there's actually 2 locations, 2 private houses that we conducted investigations in there about 3 years ago now. And it's actually, it was Emma, one of the girls in the group at the minute, her and Alex, 2 of the girls we were down. And one of the EVPs, it's not the way you see it on the TV programs, where they ask, is anybody there? And there's a bit of somebody lets off, and they'll go, oh, that said John, and it's not going to guess.
Yeah.
This was as clear as day. You hear us sitting chatting away, and then you hear, I think it was Emma call out, is anybody there? And next minute, straight away, this clear voice coming over silent. And so we have been lucky enough again to have a couple of. I was actually over in Poland a few years ago, and we done one of the concentration camps, and I had my voice recorder on, and a couple of the voices we got there were speaking in Polish, and that was like, again, I don't know if you've ever been or not, but it's hard getting away from everybody. It's just always so busy. But for a couple of seconds, the location I had, I took a photograph. There's things come out in the photograph as well, but just had the voice recorder on, and I didn't even ask questions. It was just basically thinking. I was standing with a recorder on, and there was a voice come over, and it's something special that I sort of cherish, basically.
It's like one of the questions I'm going to ask you later on there, which is very like that coincides with what you got there as well. And I suppose, as you said, it's the completely different language. So you can, if you were your only self there and you were only talking in English, then it's kind of backs up that, there's something else there, and I suppose if it's a sentence and syllables are used and it's not an object, you feel it's not an object to anybody else, then it's amazing then. Veronica says, hi Anthony, loving the show. Hi Veronica. And Belfast Paranormal Investigators, and Tony says, show great. Thank you now, lads. You acknowledged me after 45 minutes. I'm only joking. So I'm so happy now. I'm going to give you a chance to go into the quiz. So this is because it's N.I.P.R.A's 30th birthday. I need you to type down this first word. The first person who types down this word, I am watching it. It's going to be the first person that comes up on the screen here. You don't have to do it there, Warren.
Oh no, I'm getting a drink. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So the first person to type this has a chance to go into our Halloween mega draw or mini draw, and the word I want you to type is "Happy Birthday N.I.P.R.A." So happy birthday and then N.I.P.R.A. So happy birthday N.I.P.R.A. N.I.P.R.A. First person to type that. Now it might be because I'm not on Facebook at the moment there, folks. So I might even happy birthday, Nicola. Who's Nicola? I'm sorry, Joe. I don't know if you're using that. What's it? The typeset. I don't know. I think. We got. They're all coming in there. I think we got the winner though. It came up there first. I'm just checking out. Happy birthday, Nicola. Happy birthday, N.I.P.R.A. That's John Ambrose Martin. So stick with us there, John. John, just 1 second. I get my pen there. John Ambrose Martin. And you have a chance there after we chat about the next section, which is ley lines. If you stay on, now you get a chance to pick. And Watson Jonathan came in second, just in case. So the next subject is going to be about ley lines there. So ley lines there, Warren. What is your view on ley lines?
Ley lines are a thing that I think maybe a lot more paranormal groups should actually research a wee bit and sort of look into. Again, some of the cases we've done over the years, well, 2 in particular. One is the person that turned out had actually built their house basically directly on a ley line, and this person was having some immense activity coming through their house. So it is something, as I say, which again, I think it's only really came to light. It's been around for a lot of years, but it's only come into the mainstream sort of knowledge of people over the past so many years.
Yeah, I think it was, I don't know if it was, I was reading up a bit more about it, actually, yeah, because you suggested it there, and I thought, God, that's a great subject to talk about. But I don't actually know too much about it myself. I had to look into it a bit more. But I think it's Watkins. I think it was 1920s or something.
That's
But
right.
but there's been many interpretations what it is there over the decades there. Do you think they are linked to UFOs?
I think they could be. Again, my thoughts on UFOs, and I got there, I do believe there's something there, but I believe again they're maybe in a different dimension than what we're in, and this is why people, a lot of times when people report seeing a UFO, there's no sound, and I think maybe it's just basically bleed over from another dimension. Uh, the way we would describe a game with ley lines is if you ever go to like somebody can do an acupuncture, and what they'll do is they use what's known as the meridian lines that run around the human body. And these are energy lines where they'll put all the needles in, manipulating all this here. And to us, the ley lines are the natural energy lines that run around the earth. If you get places like Newgrange and North or Douth or Fornox or Loch Crew or something like that there, or like Jan's Ring or something up here in Belfast, if you get a map, like an Ordnance Survey map, put a ruler on it and look at it like an ancient site or an ancient sort of an old ancient sort of like church or something like this, and you'll be able to draw a line through all different ancient sites. And this is the way the ancient people done it. And again, that's why some of the places are built to look at the sort of the winter solstice and all this here. You know, it's all the ancient people. I have to laugh sometimes when people say about, you know, we're so well advanced and we're so technological. Yes, we have, but I don't think we give ancient people the acknowledgements of what they had and the things we were capable of doing. You know, like, again, if you ever go to Newgrange, just stand in Newgrange. And I remember being down in Newgrange years ago, and the person beside me turning around and going, "Oh, it was built, I guess, by accident." And I felt like hitting them because they go, "What? How do you mean it was built, I guess, by accident?" You know, it's such a clever thing. But yeah, I think there is a big connection. I mean, the other name for a ley line is a spurred highway. You know, they get that name for a reason.
Yeah, and then like as you say, because like we was talking about now members, what you call it? Is there any as you mentioned the house beforehand? Is any locations that have it? But how do you find ley lines? Is it as you said with a map there? But is there any? Is like can you do it with dowsing or
you can you can dowse it or you can use a pendulum. Is two good ways of doing it. Another good way, what we would suggest, if you're in a location and like one of the cases we were into, it was just outside Bangor, and these people were saying like every night basically there was a different. They were describing something different happening in their house, and they were saying like there was a man walks through their house, there's a woman walks through their house. Now, the husband was a doctor, and his wife had a very, very good job as well. So they're not people that would be prone to telling lies or making stories up. This was a brand new built house, a really weird shaped house. You walked in the front door, and it was a very long hallway going right down to basically the back door with rooms off the side. But they had seen all these different energies coming down, and it actually turned out that their house, if you got a map, looked at their house and put a ruler through where their house is, there's an old church, there's an old abbey, there's a stone circle just within a straight line of their actual house.
And like as you said, like I suppose like they're also known as trading routes and all that. So these energies that used to go on these pathways all the time there. And this might sound stupid. It's just gone off the back of my head. Like haunted roads. There's some significance to them there. You know, would these like in the future, like roads and all that, like pathways with people? Do you reckon people like if they build houses on top of these roads, like they might feel the energy of these cars?
Definitely. Again, that's why you've got accident black spots as well. You know, you've got, you know, there's what's known as negative ley lines as well. So you'll get a ley line that runs, say, across a road. And there's maybe, again, the whole thing was obviously with the famine knowledge here is what's known as hungry grass. And there's patches of land where there'd be bad accidents. Like there's maybe a patch of land where there's been the famine and there's been something bad's happened, and they'll build a road on it. Especially down south as well. There's a couple of places I remember going to visit years ago, and there's this one road, completely straight road for about a mile, 2 miles, not a bend on it. But halfway up this road, there's been about 5 or 6 fatalities, 5 or 6 car accidents on a completely straight bit of road. There's a ley line that actually cuts right across that road. So there is, and there's something negative or something bad has happened there. Now, a negative ley line is quite easy to sort of change back into a positive ley line. Just use a couple of iron rods to put in. But you usually find out anywhere where it's like excellent black spots, you know, if you look at them. And again, see, using a mobile phone now, I mean, even standing in somebody's house, if you're considering, right, maybe there could be something in the ley line, go into your Google Maps and zoom away out and go into the satellite, and you'll see the satellite version of where you're standing, and just look at where the exact house you're in, and then look around it. If you see anything like rafts, dolmens, standing stones, any kind of old cathedrals or anything up there, there's a chance that it could be actually on a ley line.
Yeah, as you say, like, I suppose that's what the word means, is cleared lines of strip.
Yeah.
It's our Anglo-Saxon name. And I suppose, as you said, like, I'm going to go back to, as you mentioned, the house there. Should people be, like you mentioned, a negative there, and there could be a positive there? Should people be afraid if they find out on old pathways, like trading out?
Again, things like that, we would always say to people to use crystals, put crystals up in their houses. I'm not a great believer in the whole demonic thing where some sort of something evil's going to possess you, spit green gook at you, and tear your head off. But, you know, I do believe in negative energies. You know, I mean, we've worked with some people where, the way we would say, if the person's been a murderer or a rapist or something like that, and when they were alive, you know, once they die, they're not going to suddenly become a beautiful big spirit. You know, that spirit energy, that traits that they have in their life, they're going to have. So that's where the energy or the negative energy comes. So if somebody does have a house built on a ley line, you know, and it is an active ley line, and you'll normally get a ley line, you'll get like a stream of a river. It runs the one way. You're not going to have it coming back in the same way as well. So you've got energy flowing one way. So you may be lucky enough, it's the same as leaving your front door and your house open at nights. You may be lucky enough and have all lovely people's going to pass your house, but the chances are you're going to have some person's going to walk by your house which wants to do you or remember your family or just come in and steal stuff. You know, and it's the same with spirit energy. You know, you could have all sweetness and light spirits, but there could be one spirit energy or which is still in its whole negative outlook, basically. You know, so we would say to people, hang crystals if there is anything, if it is something like a ley line, and you can get wee spikes, like wee iron spikes, and try and find out where the ley line's coming in and where it's going out of, and just put the iron spike in either side of where that is, and usually that basically flips the whole polarity of the thing.
You know, as you said, we're going to probably touch on that in a minute there, because what you're saying is just so coinciding with like recognizing like these spirits go past their negative spirits, but they know they've been that energy there, and they know they're conscious of that energy that they are like. Just as you mentioned, accident hotspots, Liz mentioned it. It just came in at the right time there. Like Liz says, the house we visited when I was with the team, remember the tree in the garden and the horseshoe nails in it, plus the ley line. I'm reading wrong. Plus the ley line through the house, so we got them to move the bed.
That's right.
So I suppose this was to do with where the bed was situated in the house. Was it there, Warren?
It was where the bed was situated. You know, sometimes you get people will sort of they'll look into things and they'll find out a rough bit of information about it, but they won't do anything to actually change it. You know, so that night it was just more to give them a bit of peace of mind. You know, I think there was a few more things now. I know the case Liz is talking about there, but there was a few more things that we advised them to do. But even moving their headboard, you know, and again, as you mentioned, even things like infrasound, you know, even going into people's houses, people's having sort of nightmares, people waking up during the night and all. we would always, this sounds so funny, but we would always even look at the bedside lamp. You know, and if a bulb was one of them energy saving bulbs, especially the old generation ones, if you get an EMF meter and hold an EMF meter by them, the magnetic field of them things are giving off crazy. You know, so it's even things like that. We would say, you know, change your bed round, just do anything. But I know the case, I remember the case that Liz is thinking about, but I think we had to go back there a couple of times. But again, usually you find if you're given the right advice, you know, normally what we would do is, like, me and Liz would have went down, or say me and Emma would go down, or me and Alex would go down, chat to the people, have a bit of a word with them, have a coffee with them, you know, and explain to them what is actually going on. And then 9 times out of 10, the people are happy enough. You know, they don't want clearance done. They don't want anything. As long as they know there's nothing that's going to it's going to harm their kids or harm them, they're more than happy with live coinciding with a thing.
Yeah, it's like, I suppose, as you said there, it's just letting out what their experience is, somebody to confide in and talk to there, and you're there. And as you said there, just with the experience that, you know, that it's nothing demonic. It's nothing like you see on the TV, or, you know, it's not Piers Morgan or anything like that. I love Piers Morgan. I'm sorry.
He's funny at times.
That's a different subject altogether there. But Hugh James says negative ley lines are known as black streams. People who have properties or live on these can experience a lot of negative energy and become ill. So it is a fact that if you put copper rods in these black streams, that can reverse negativity. Yeah, copper's a great conductor there. So it reflects it there. I suppose as well, if you get about fault lines as well, like infrasound can come up from, you know, Earth is always shaking as well. But as you said, it's how they confide in you people there, and I suppose once they see an object, which it is probably the common occurrence, like you said, the lamp beside the bed where it's giving off high EMF there, that it, you know, it's they can relate to that object, and that can be sorted or moved in the bed as is. So I know Bridget says, I know people have moved their bed and felt much better. True, yeah. I know. I tried to see. I got the bed behind me there. Don't know if you can see. That's never moved so far yet. You know. 9 out of 10 times there, the wife wakes up in the middle of the night there, and she sees a figure at the end of the bed. The other 1 out of 10 times, she actually lets me sleep beside her. Anyway, so anyway,
you're gonna get that.
Anyway, so it's the quiz, folks. So go on to the next. No, sorry, the poll, because we're talking about ley lines. So this is a poll. So we asked you there, are ley lines connected to lines of energy, and here are the results. Really, it was a scale from 1 to 5, and 1 meaning yes, absolutely, and 5 meant no, you didn't really believe in ley lines. I draw the line, and it was kind of, the average was 3.0, so you kind of mixed there. So 25% came up 1, 25% 2. Number 3 was 12.5. The higher was more of you believed that there wasn't, but in the scale average there was about 3.0, about average there. So people mixed really there towards it there. Colin back. Hi, Colin. How you doing? Yeah, if I found Piers Morgan in my house, I would be out there. And Hugh says, that's a laugh. Yeah, like that one, Anthony there. So we're going to talk about what's your views on that there, Warren?
On what, sorry?
What were your views on the ley lines results? Or
well, the ley lines, I mean, it is something. Excuse me. It is something where, you know, there's no actual physically, there's no big actual lines. So if you look at a map, there's no actual real lines that run down it and goes, this is a ley line. You know, so there's nothing actually tangible for people to touch. So it is one of those things where you are going to have people going, oh, that's a load of rubbish. You know, but again, with what I've seen, with what I've done and worked with, I'm very convinced that there is such a thing. And as I say, I believe with spirit energy and with like UFOs and like that, there is a whole connection with them somewhere. But I believe it's something that just our physics yet haven't grown to actually accept. You know, we're so still quite closed in our what we sort of outlook.
Yeah, as you said, like, you know, UFOs and all that, like a bleed in our dimension there. Now, if we can connect with spirits from the past, can we connect with spirits from the future as well? Like, and are they conscious of us or a residual future as well? Do they know of what we are here, as well as people that are on TikTok that don't know what's happening now?
That's very true.
So that's a different dimension altogether. So I'm only joking. So this is the quiz, folks. So John Ambrose Martin. So you have a chance there. There's one of 6 locations. It's either I want you to write down either the subway, theatre, graveyard, windmill, prison, or island. Type in one of those locations. We'll reveal the results at the end of the show. So it's just type in one of those locations, John. If you're still there, we'll give you a minute. Either subway, theatre, graveyard, windmill, prison, or island. Warren, which one would you like to pick?
I actually worked in a windmill, and the windmill was haunted, so I would pick a windmill.
Oh, cool, a windmill. That's a bit different there. So windmill for Warren. Still waiting for Jonathan. We'll give you another 10. He's gone for prison. Oh no, well, we just John. It's just be John Ambrose Martin. So John, be Ireland there. Okay, so okay. All right, so I'll let you in there, Watson, Jonathan. Okay, I'll let you in, so we'll take prison as well. So just stay tuned after the last segment there, and we'll get back to you there with that. So, so the last subject we're going to be talking about, Crumlin Road Jail, and can you tell us a bit of the background to the Crumlin Road Jail there, Warren?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a bit of it was a workhouse long before it was a jail. In D Wing. Now, most of the experiences we had would have been in D Wing. Everybody knows it again because of the troubles that I got there and what happened in it. But a lot of the stuff we had, Anthony, was again predated near enough the whole history of the prison. It's one of those places. I know Hugh and all was there just, I think it was last night or a couple of nights ago doing an investigation on it. But it's even looking at it, it's got the impression as soon as you look at it, it's the kind of place where you're going to go. It has to be haunted, you know. And you go in with that attitude that you're going to experience something. Amazing place, and we had spent a couple of nights there, and we didn't experience anything at nighttime during the nights. And at first, the first night we done a full night at it, our group, we were thinking, well, why aren't we experiencing something here? But now, as we thought, all the prisoners and all were locked away, you know, and it would have been a lot quieter. So it was just more during the day and all you were going to get the activity. But we were called in. We actually done a thing long before the prison opened as a tourist attraction. We actually were called in. We done an investigation in the place and give everything to the NIO, Northern Ireland Office, what we had found, photographs, video clips, audio clips, everything we had found from them. And like Liz and all, I'll tell you there, we were up there for a brave amount of times. And some of the, if I told people some of the experiences we had, people would think we're just crazy and just would not believe us. But, you know, it was just in your face paranormal activity, you know, from being slapped, from being pushed, from being thrown onto your back, doors slammed in front of you, footsteps, keys thrown at you, you know, and, you know, that's just my wife. you know, but I say it honestly some of the activity was just out of this world.
And so I was going to say there, like the executions that happened, I think it was 17. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
People would probably associate that. Would it have been inevitable that it would be haunted?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, in the drop cell, you know, we would always take people down in the drop cell. Whenever you go underneath, and that's where the body would have hung. You know, and they would have let the body hang there for X amount of time, and that's where your life ended. You know, so you were dangling at the end of that rope. You didn't die instantaneously. You know, so that whole fabric of the building, that whole atmosphere of that building was just absorbed or impregnated with that whole energy. So yeah, I mean, it's understandable that whole area. You take A, B, C, and D wing, all the different levels of it, and the annex and D wing is one of the most haunted bits. But when you go down to the drop cell and the basement areas, that is, we've had people down there which had felt physically sick just because the energy was so powerful.
And like as you said, like there's tours during the day. There's public events that teams have done in the night there. Is there any common occurrence that people have felt like physically there or mentally? Like?
Well, there is a young boy. People would contact him. I used to be a tour guide on it, and again, our group done a lot of the stuff on it to begin with. But a lot of people, and I think to this day, people still do encounter the young boy. Now, I'm not going to say his name because the name that we give out is not the actual name. But yeah, a lot of people would experience the young boy, and usually if you're standing down in the drops or down in the drop cell or where the flogging room and all was, you know, people, especially if you're standing there, people would feel this like a young boy taking their hand. You know, and it happens on countless occasions.
Right, and as the place is huge, is it? Warren?
It is big, yeah, it is very big. And again, you've got a tunnel that goes underneath the Crumlin Road Jail over to the courthouse, or underneath the Crumlin Road Jail, or Crumlin Road, sorry, over the courthouse. It is a very big location, you know. And there's times when we've been down there as a group, and you know, there's always two security on. One security would have stayed in the back gate; they had to stay in the back gate. But sometimes the other security guard, which was quite into the whole paranormal, he would have come around with us, and like some of the stories they told us. You know, they're walking through the building at night time, you know, making sure there's nobody there. You know, why anybody wants to actually break into a prison for, I don't know. But they're walking through trying to just check. And there's one guy, and it's a big guy from Mauritius, and he walks through and he says if he hears noises, he would hear doors closing, he would hear a whistle, and we heard whistling on countless occasions from one of the cells. But he says he doesn't even check. He just has the torch pointed to the ground and walks straight on, you know. But that's what people are like, you know. Again, it's saying about lights getting switched on in Richhill Castle. There was one of the nights we were all coming out of the Crumlin Road Jail, just finished the investigation, switched all the lights off, and went down C wing, and we went outside. We're talking to the security guard. The place was in pitch black, and we get in the car next minute. The wee security guard coming running over to us and went, "Will you go and switch them lights off?" And we went, all the lights are off. And we turned around, the whole C wing was lit up like a Christmas tree.
No. So
they wouldn't go and do it. He would not go back and do it. I think when Liz was actually there, and or Tanya was there, and they were not going to do it. We had to go in and do it ourselves. Security guards wouldn't go and do it. I think we frightened them more than it was.
So there you go, folks. Don't let Warren or Liz into your house there. You have a big electricity bill. But
we're nice people, really. So we are.
I know, okay. But as we're saying about the size of the place, is there pros and cons to a huge place investigating?
There is. Obviously, it's got its natural ambience, you know. So you've got the natural sounds that building's going to make. You know, be it heating up, cooling down, especially during the summer, it's got different noises it's going to make during the summer and during the winter. So if you're in an investigation, you're going to have to realize, okay, so you're hearing banging. Is that maybe heating system cooling down? Is that, you know, windows are maybe setting automatic and closing over or something like this? Again, such a big location, you're not going to be able to look at it all the time everywhere. So you hear a door closing, you have to be sure that there isn't maybe some security guard or somebody else has come in the other side of the building. You know, so again, you have to you're checking everything all the time, because you're going, it's no use coming home, go, oh, Brian, we caught a door open and closing. And then you find out a week later, the other security guard came in to go to the toilet. You know, but it did happen. It has happened to us occasions. Like, you know, we're not perfect. Nobody is. You know, and there's times where we done things years ago, but it was all a learning curve for us. You know, so we done something and we learned from it. We went, right, we're not making that same mistake again. You know, so it is, but it is a big location. Sometimes big location can be a bit of a drawback, you know, so it is, because if it is so big, then there's a lot of variables you have to take into account.
As you said, yeah, I suppose like with cell doors, naturally, probably some of them do be open there, and then if there's a sound within the area, the sound comes out, and it's because it's less, what's the word? materials inside the building, like furniture that you would normally have in a house, and that would make this sound easily recognizable. The sound would travel further and the way.
Well,
So
we on that there, we had a funny one night. We had people at a group down. I think it was down in D Wing, and we had a group down. I think we had about 7 or 8 in the group. We're standing there, and we were aware of the noise. And there was a football pitch just across a couple of, like, sort of a bit away from the jail. And occasionally you could see the lights on, you could hear the guys playing football. And next minute, this woman, we were calling out, and again, we would use it because even an ice cream van going past, and you had to say to people, guys, that's an ice cream van. It's outside. It's not the prisoners aren't getting brought ice cream, so don't worry. But we were standing. Next minute, the woman turned around and says, I hear a football match going on. And she was so adamant that that was coming from inside the jail. And we had to say to her, look, there's a football pitch over there. They're playing football. And you can hear everybody cheering, and you hear all different people shouting. But she was so, it didn't come to an argument or anything, but she was so adamant that this was inside the jail, where we just ended up going, believe what you want. We tried to put the real reason forward, but she went home thinking, like, in the middle of the D-wing or having a football match.
I know, yeah, you just never know. I don't know, but I would actually say, I suppose a similar sort of place, Court Jail, we did a couple of years ago. Actually, was our last investigation there. That I could hear there was a football match actually happening as well, and you could hear the cheering there because it's right next to the. I suppose there's a river. I suppose there's the River Lee there, but you could hear the sound. Yes. But you could hear the shouting on sensitive on the equipment there, and you knew it was some sort of football match. But it's just so identical to what you said there, So I suppose if it was 2 o'clock in the morning, you might have a case.
That's it, exactly. There's a time and place, But I'll never forget that one, and the one with the ice cream van was 2 of the funniest things. And you know what it's like. You're trying to stifle a laugh. You don't want to laugh in front of the person. You also don't want to slap them, But you're just going, somebody else tell this person, please.
I have to leave the room to laugh. Exactly. What I was going to say. So I'm going to ask you. I'm coming to your questions now, folks. I know because you're coming in with some questions there, or replies there, or comments there. But I just want to ask this question there to Warren there, because we mentioned like the emotional state of a person before they die, and I think it's the realization before they die. I suppose, as you mentioned, like the people in the execution block that they realize that they die, and murderers, murder victims. Realizing what's about to happen to themselves. Do you think? Do you reckon the emotion at death? If you have more emotion at death, you're prone to be active in the afterlife or the next dimension. Sorry,
I would say it does probably. It probably would do again. And even saying that again, back to Crumlin Road Jail in the condemned man's cell in Crumlin Road Jail. I don't know if you've ever actually visited or not, but there's a big bookcase. Okay. The condemned prisoner would have spent a couple of days or whatever inside the cell, completely oblivious. He knew he was going to be executed, but he probably thought he was going to go to the other side of the jail or outside or something like that. And what would have happened was the guard would have come in the morning, or a couple of guards would have come in the morning, whatever. And the guy knew he was going to be executed, but again, didn't know where. Basically told the guy to stand up, got him dressed, and then quite a small room, walked him towards this bookcase. The bookcase is slid aside. There's a door. He opens up the door, and that's you right in the execution room.
Jesus.
So you don't have time, but by the time, if it was like Albert Pierpoint or something like that there, that was actually doing the execution, he had already seen the person. He could have told by looking at the person what length of rope and everything was needed for the execution. So by the time that guy walked through that door, he was taken straight over to the hatch. The noose knot was put around his neck, and the lever was pulled.
There's a sudden kind thing. Yeah.
And that's why, one of the schools of thought we would believe in, where spirit energy is, that person doesn't know they're dead. That person may have been killed in a car accident. That person maybe died in their sleep. And they're wondering why there's complete strangers in their houses. They're wondering why nobody's speaking to them. They can't communicate with people. But on the other hand, was somebody that's been executed or something like that, You know, it is time for them. Is it time? Is it maybe giving them time to actually get the emotions built up to make them stronger in spirit? We don't know. We don't know. But I would say there is a big connection with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just thought I'd put that forward to you there, because I'm just thinking about murderers there. Like if they don't recognise, like, you go to these places notorious for murderers once were, and you don't actually feel them on the other side there. But is it because they aren't bothered about or recognise their own fate in that place, or is it just the victim there that realises their own fate, recognises it, their emotion? Bring it into the next.
It could be one. It could be probably both, because again, some of the prisoners, what we found is, and some of the prisons, some of the guys were repeat offenders. So, especially in like the Crumlin Road Jail, some of the jails that are so old, you know, it's all the people knew. You know, as soon as they got out, they committed something and they went straight back into prison again. And they maybe died in prison because that was all they knew. You know, so their energy when they passed over, that would be real, maybe not negative energy, maybe not even a murder, but it's just something that the energy that we would have been a really mixed up, malevolent energy, and it wouldn't be an all like somebody that's just died. And I believe spirits can come back if they want to, you know, and sort of to look into the living and just to say they're okay, sort of thing. But I would rather meet a spirit like that rather than one that's like a murder or something like that there today, because you say there is that edge, and that would be where, again, the negativity, where what people would term as a demonic energy would come in. But we just think, well, you need to lose that word demonic, sort of thing.
True, yeah. I know it's just a word meant bad really over the centuries there.
Right, yeah.
I'll come to everyone's questions now there. So I was just inquiring about that because it's interesting there, like, because I was thinking about battle. People died in battle. Yeah, and they all drive for the one cause, and they don't actually think that they've murdered loads of people in battle, but they've actually done it for a reason. I'm just wondering, I suppose, is there many people actually that are ghosts, like apparitions or conscious spirits, that are actually from battles? And I don't know if there tends to be, like, you know, you might get the residual energy, battlefields and all that. I don't know. Anyways,
there is stories now, as you say. There's a lot of sort of the Battle of Culloden and like that there, where there's that residual energy which is heard. And even the Battle of the Boyne, you know, at certain date you can still hear the swords, you can still hear the horses and all like that there. But there is other cases where there's guys seen and it's spirits of certain people, like wringing their hands and trying to clean the blood and all off their hands. You know, so I think there is certain spirit energies where to come back, and there must be that realization of what they've committed or what they've done, you know, and they're trying to clean the blood off their hands. But as you say, most of the battles now just seem to be just basically residual energy.
Yeah, it's just interesting because it's because the amount of battles that have happened, especially in Ireland, even, you know, it's there's not much accounts there, like statements by people there. And this says one of my favorite places, that's the Crumlin Road Jail. Joanne from Seekers of the Afterlife says, has anyone on the team ever gone into a trance of sorts in a very active location?
Well, there's myself and a couple of other members who have done sort of trance mediumship over the years. Not for a while. I had a very bad experience with mine over a few years ago, and it didn't knock me back a bit, but a lot can be sort of attained from it, and can be sort of found from it, but it has to be done in proper locations.
Yeah, it's I know I've done the same myself. Then it's like, yeah, but I was thankfully on the positive side. Like, it's not, you know, thinking like, okay, I try and learn more about it there, or try, you know, what's the word there? I suppose it was like trying to. I wasn't scared after the moment there, but I was more inquisitive there. It could have gone the other way there, but it's something just. It's to be on top of, really. I suppose that's the main thing.
It's something as well, and we would always advise. I was so lucky to have the kind of people in the group that we've had, again, like Emma and sort of Liz and Tanya and and Alex and all, where they've been so. If there was myself or someone that was doing anything to trance, they knew how to operate this and how to sort of what to do and what not to do. Whereas some of the problems come in if somebody is doing trans mediumship and the people around them don't know what to do. Like the worst thing you could do is grab the person, you know. And there's cases where people have sort of grabbed somebody, and this is where some of the problems can arise from.
Yeah, sure. He's got. I suppose that's a good way. Let people know what
they expect or what could happen.
What could happen there,
yeah,
you know. Yeah, that's and have those people around you. Yeah, one occasion, that's why my wife knew, and all the rest of my team know that, you know, there's the circumstances or what could entail there. Tony says, reception room, I got awful pain when went the tunnel, pain eased. We later found out the reason why I had pain. Very fond of the jail, been back since, was there with your team, Warren, as guests, etc. I still said, hi, friends. Hope you well, though nasty men were there, need show respect. Yeah. So I'm just talking about the nasty spirits that are around there. Bridget says, did I ask that question? Do you think during the day is a good as night on a paranormal night? So is it just as good during the day?
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, say again, when I was a tour guide in the jail, you know, we would experience things during the day as well. You know, taking tours, a lot of the people, like on occasions, people would have said about, oh, there's someone so down there, and they're you know, they just walked in that cell, and we knew there was nobody there. You know, so there was activity happening during the day, but to say what really got us, say at first, to say the first night we spent there and there was nothing happened, you know, we thought this place would have been absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But again, it's the building, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, just going back to court jail as well, when we were sussing it out for the first time, we brought the two toddlers around with us. There would have been three and a 2-year-old there.
Yeah.
And back at that time there, and what we could hear was they were screaming like, wow, as kids do there. And me and Jen heard clear as day, like a voice going, shh.
That's right, yeah.
And this was during the day, like, you know, this is before we did the investigation. It was like sort of pre-vid, just to take photographs and all that. And then we never got anything like that during the night, you know, when we came back, you know. But it's those little triggers, like it was the kids that got them to react there. Tanya says, mine too. I think that's one of her favourites, Crumlin Road Jail. Liz says, laughing out loud, true. Tanya says, we were both there, Warren. Tanya says, Liz says, lots of people don't take the natural ambience into consideration and say, that's spirit, when sadly it's not, plus contamination from outside. There's a lot of contamination from everywhere, I suppose, and inside and outside there as well. Colin says, I was at a location once where I heard a low creaking noise. I called out, you will have to do better than that. With that, I had a glass thrown at me from an empty room. All right.
Yeah, well, let's be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Jesus. Glass there. Well, I hope you did the washing up anyway there, Colin. That's the main thing.
One of the big things, and I think Liz actually touched on it there, and one of the big things we have always been, and we still do believe in, is to show respect to the spirit no matter where you go. You know, even if we're going into a house, and if people were behind us and were listening to the way we get on, we'll walk in and we'll go, good evening, or hello, how you doing? And when we're leaving, we'll say, good night, guys, see us again next week. Again, if people look at you and go, why are you doing that? And you go, well, again, you know, just because the person isn't there in their physical, they're still there in their spiritual. So we're just giving them the respect. And you'll find by doing that, the spirit will show you a lot more and give you a lot more activity as well.
It's nice, yeah. It's nice to do that. Then actually, quite a lot of the people interview with the teams do that as well, which is a nice thing. If you're going to be doing it, you might as well continue doing it and say hello and then goodbye then at the end as well. Tanya said, sorry, now just go. Liz says ice cream van, laugh out loud. John Ambrose Martin says, absolutely gets old quick when you have people overreacting like that. Yeah, I suppose that's overreacting to everything, I suppose, there. Pareidolia and all that sort of thing, overreacting too much. One was not to the floor in the jail too. I remember the mouthy lady got learned a lesson. Guy with glasses that flew off, and jail changed my skeptic bestie views on hauntings. Yes, yeah. So I suppose it depends what time of the day, and what it can be quiet some nights and busy some days, and vice versa. Isn't
That's it.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I just, the programs on TV now. I just wish I could go to locations they do, because every time these people go into locations, they always get real massive spirit activity, and you go, that's not real.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some of it's the Zach Baggins Corporation, most of them on TV.
Oh, don't
if you just at the end of the credits, you'll see them all most of the time there. Yeah. Sack Baggins, of course. Anyway, Tanya says Warren and another guy, Jarlath, had experiences. And Liz says we had so many cry when we opened the door to the hanging cell. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So as you said, yeah, it's all going on. It's just because it's great to converse with you and interact there and see your experiences there with the locations there and spirits there, how they move on and how they make themselves conscious in the next realm. And yeah, it's just interesting talking about it. And Liz says, remember me in N.I.P.R.A at that table?
Oh, yes. Oh, goodness, yeah. There's a brief few things that's happened, as I say, with Liz and a couple of other members, which when you look back on, you sort of go, my God, did that really happen?
Yeah, so it's interesting when you're like with old team when we reflect on things in the previous place. Liz says, I remember I went into a trance at N.I.P.R.A. I think that's at N.I.P.R.A there. Well, I'm about to speak on the 90 minutes gone over an hour and a half there, but it's been a pleasure there. And it's experienced there 30 years and for many more years as well to come. And is there something that you're coming up in the future? Are you looking for locations or tours? And
yeah, we are obviously with COVID. Now I got there, we've done a couple of sort of private cases over COVID, but we've sort of just laid low and done the obviously sort of stay at home thing basically. But we're hunting. There's 2 locations we're hopefully getting in the north. And there's a big location down the south we're looking at as well. So, but we're always looking for locations, and again, we are sort of opening the doors. Probably next month, maybe take 1 or 2 new members on as well, and sort of get things back to the way they should be again. Hopefully.
So you're opening the doors, and you're going to be turning on the lights as well.
Well, don't have a turn on the lights.
Leaving on the lights, so you know where Warren's coming there, and there's an RIP because it's all lit up anyway. But you are looking for members as well in the south.
We are, yes, Anton.
Okay. Liz says respect, and first and foremost, we found like attracts like, and sadly some teams go in gun ho with no respect. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's probably to do with saying hello and introducing the spirit world. John Ambrose Martin says, "I'll send my CV there." Yeah, do.
John, we already know you. Your CV's already here, John.
So you know each other, do you?
Oh yeah, I know John. Yeah.
Liz says, "I remember you again, Warren, in August 2051."
You'll probably have to give me a Ouija board by then.
I'll probably have the same bed covers there. But so it's 30 years there, and it's great. And finally, I was in back of my mind to get in contact with you, and I saw on Liz's RIP Paranormal page, and I thought this would be a great time to chat to you there, Warren, and a lot of respect to you there. And it's 1991. There's some going there, and fair dues to you there. But before we go ahead.
No, I just said it doesn't seem like that, but it doesn't seem. I remember in 1991 when I talked about starting the group, and I went, "Oh, it probably won't come to anything." And it's weird to believe that 30 years later, we're actually still here. So I'm still alive.
I know it's good there, and it's great to the willpower and the passion as well is great, and the knowledge, experience there It's amazing. I'm just going to come to a few more questions or shout outs there. So this is the quiz, folks. So Warren, you picked the windmill. John Ambrose Martin, you picked the island, and Watson Jonathan, you picked a prison. Now this is a chance. I'll let you in there, Watson. But this is a chance to go into a Halloween mega draw or mini draw. I forget now how it went there because I constructed this whole draw in the week there. So let's see how it goes. So I had a choice between the subway, theatre, graveyard, windmill, prison, and island. Here it goes. No luck for the subway, prison, and graveyard. Looking good there, Warren. You're in the mini draw for the island. That's John. Unlucky Watson. Oh, and Warren, you're in the Halloween mega draw because you picked the windmill. Hey, woo, woo. Now you might be able to get some more salt. That's in the mega draw. So. You know, if you're wondering if there's any salt shortage coming towards the winter, you know it's Warren. So
exactly.
I'm already messing there. So just a few more shout outs there. And Bo, Hugh says all the best to you and N.I.P.R.A for the future. That says Hugh from Capper County Antrim Paranormal Association. Bridget from Seekers After I says great show, thank you guys. And Watson says well done to all there. Thank you, Warren, there, and appreciate it. I'll get you on the show again there in the future there, and it's been a pleasure there. And yes, if you contact Warren on his page there, and there's a bio as well on this event page as well, where you can contact Warren. There is looking for team members there for down south there, and got investigations coming up there. Bridget's John Ambrose says great show, guys. Thank you. Tanya says I first contacted Warren in 1993. Wasn't the right time, obviously. Well on 2009. I contacted Warren again. The rest is history. I think that's good.
It is.
Joanne says thanks to all. Very interesting topics. Good luck in the future there. That's Joanne from Seekers of the Afterlife. So cheers, Bo, and I'll let you get some rest there. And thank you again, Warren, Bo.
Yep, anytime, mate. It was lovely talking to you all.
Just a couple of last one before we go. And Sean says, hey, good luck, future Warren. And Watson says, great show. So, folks, I won't see you next time. I'll see you in the near distance. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.